What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Phoenix here, back with a brand new Marvel Spider-Man 2 video. And in today's video, I want to talk about how it seems as if the Venom boss fight might end up disproving, and will obviously end up seeing how Peter will obviously get rid of the symbiote. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button as well. And without a doubt, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, this article from Game Rant says trailers for Marvel Spider-Man 2 have either transparently revealed the story or deliberately obscure details. It appears that Harry intends to become Venom after Peter gets rid of the symbiote, shaping the narrative around this pivotal moment. Miles' bioelectric abilities may play a significant part in separating the symbiote from Peter, potentially leading to an exciting moment in the story, but rendering the Venom boss fight underwhelming if the symbiote is indeed affected by Miles' powers. Now, we already know this for a fact that it's obviously going to be, you know, weak to Miles's bioelectric powers because of everything that's been in the trailers. And on top of that, because of the fact that in the gameplay trailer, every single time when a trailer ends, it ends off with the date and it ends off with Miles's bioelectric charges going out. So that is obvious for the fact that it does end up doing that. But following that, it says the marketing thus far for Marvel Spider-Man 2 seems entirely transparent. This either means that Marvel Spider-Man 2 is wearing its story on a sleeve, or its trailers have been skewed to obscure true details and events. If the former is true, it seems obvious that Harry intends to have his original bond with the alien symbiote, and thus turning him into Venom at some point in the game after Peter is able to rid himself of it. And the rest of the narrative seems to fall into place around those two specific beats. Similarly, it seems clear now how Peter will be able to get the symbiote off of him. We already know for a fact that Miles is obviously going to help Peter get the symbiote off because of the fact that I feel like it would be very underwhelming, but at the same time, it is blatantly obvious due to everything, like I said, that we've seen, because Miles' Thunderburst is actually in the game. And on top of that, with the limited edition PS5, we do see that Miles's Venom power, or his Thunderburst, does go out. So that is obvious right there. But following that, it says how Peter gets the symbiote, and in Marvel Spider-Man 2, why he doesn't seem concerned about its existence or effects is unclear. But its capabilities and gameplay are exciting nonetheless. Now that Miles boasts a couple of scene-stealing abilities from the genetically altered spider that bit him, it was probably important for Insomniac to give Peter powers that could equally be impactful in combat. Regardless, the symbiote will need to come off of Peter at some point if it's going to have another host. But how it has been teased to come off of him might be proven false by the fact that Venom in a boss fight would therefore be underwhelming. Now, we know this for a fact that it would be very underwhelming because of the fact that Miles has bioelectricity, and for the fact that Peter is getting it off, making that Venom boss fight would be underwhelming, especially for the fact that it does seem, like I said, that everything in the trailer that we've seen thus far, especially with Miles' Venom Blast at the end of both, that is made clearly obvious. But following that, it says Marvel Spider-Man 2 teases how Miles is capable of shocking the symbiote off of Peter. Now, we know this for a fact. At the end of every single trailer, they've already teased it for a fact that when the trailer ends and it shows the release date, we already know for a fact that it shows up with Miles' Thunderburst. But following that, it says the tease in particular concerns the white spider insignia for Marvel Spider-Man 2 in the game's trailers. The final shot shows this emblem and the symbiote's tendrils snaking towards it to consume it, and the symbiote seems to gutturally hiss when a blue flash of light appears and it seems to affect it. Now, obviously, this is talking about Miles's Thunderburst because of the fact that we have seen it so many times at the end of each trailer. And we do see for the fact that every single time when the symbiote crawls over it, we do see for a fact that it is obviously, you know, Miles' Thunderburst goes out at the end. But with the fact that it said a blue flash of light, I do not think that's a blue flash of light. I think that could be a sign that says that it is Mr. Negative's powers that can get rid of it. But that's a whole other video for another day. But following that, it says this would suggest that Miles' bioelectric abilities are able to affect the symbiote and retract it from Peter. While there are other vulnerabilities the symbiote has been teased to have in Insomniac's universe, Peter seems perturbed by the symbiote's tendrils flailing wildly when he is atop the lizard, for example, which could insinuate that the lizard's roar gives off a frequency that disrupts the symbiote. Now, this has obviously been teased in the trailer because, as we can see in the trailer, when the lizard's roar is obviously going on, it looks like it looks like the symbiote is losing his mind because of how loud the frequency is. But following that, it says if Miles's powers affecting the symbiote are true, then that would give him an interesting moment in the story of being able to rescue an ailing and antagonistic Peter. This would make sense and give fans the boss fight against a symbiote-laden Peter that they've wanted. But this would also mean that one of Marvel Spider-Man 2's final boss fights might be grossly lackluster as a result. Now, I do 100% agree with this because, for one, since Miles' powers do affect the symbiote, I 100% automatically assume that the more time that Peter spends with the symbiote in this game, and I feel like since we already know for a fact he's going to be wearing the black suit a lot, even when he's with Miles, the chances are is that Venom is going to be aware of, or at least the symbiote is going to be aware of the fact that Miles has his weakness. Say if the Peter boss fight with him turning into Venom does end up happening, I would not be surprised if that ends up happening because that would honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Peter was Venom. I'm gonna be honest. Now, if that does end up happening, that ends up happening, but that boss fight would be kind of obvious as well. But following that, it says Miles being able to use his bioelectricity to zap the symbiote from Peter would logically mean that Miles could zap it off of whoever it clings to next. There's no telling whether the pieces of Kraven and Venom's boss fight concept art are a true look at these encounters from the game. But if so, Peter and Miles tackle Venom together, and it seems odd that Miles wouldn't simply hit Venom with the same bioelectricity. It's worth a shot if bioelectricity doesn't actually end up being able to affect the symbiote, and maybe Insomniac would try to explain the difficulty in doing so, as Venom being much larger and harder to pin down long enough for Miles to get a strong enough charge deposited on him. Now, we already know for a fact that we've seen how Venom looks. Venom is big and bulky, and he's a lot more harder to pin down. Because I don't know if you guys know, but whenever it comes to Venom, Peter having to pin him down just long enough took a long time. It took him a while to figure it out. But it is going to take Miles a long enough time. It's going to take Miles a really long time for him to actually get enough charge out for that. But following that, it says the symbiote is seemingly the same mass as it is on Peter as it is on whoever becomes Venom. Though, so it wouldn't make sense for bioelectricity to zap the symbiote off of Peter and not another host. Even if Venom is somehow larger, either way, if Venom can be taken down that easily and the strategy for fighting him has already been made evident before the game has launched, that might make for an uninteresting boss fight. Now, with this, obviously they are going to have to figure out another strategy because for the fact that, at least to me, I do want to say, since it will be zapped off by Miles' Venom powers, I do 100% think that the weakness is pretty obvious because when we really think about it, like everything lines up perfectly because you have the whole entire gameplay trailer where Miles puts out his Venom burst, or not his Venom burst, his Thunderbirds. And you also see it as well in the story trailer at the end as well. So to me, like, it seems like they pretty much made his weakness very obvious. So with that, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And it's from your boy Phoenix, and I'll see you guys later with another spectacular, Spidey, webtastic, banger